Close to 10 o'clock p.m. here in London, still afternoon there in the United States, as inside the Wembley Conference Center, right next to historic Wembley Stadium, we prepare for this World Welterweight Championship fight between Lloyd Honeyghan of England and challenger Johnny Bumphus of the United States. Hello again, I'm Jim Lampley, and first of all, one piece of business. There are three self-appointed governing bodies in boxing. When Lloyd Honeyghan defeated Donald Curry last September, he won all three versions of the World Welterweight Championship. But since that time, Honeyghan has relinquished his WBA welterweight title. He says because that organization sanctions bouts involving South African fighters. So tonight, because of a jurisdictional dispute, only the IBF World Championship is at stake. Even if Honeyghan were to lose, he would still be the WBC World Welterweight Champion. For more on that, our boxing expert, Alex Wallow. And Alex, what do you make of all that?
Well, Jim, it's hard to imagine a more ludicrous situation than the WBC champion meeting the #1 rated WBC challenger and the WBC refusing to recognize the fight. When you put aside all the crazy politics, the facts really are very, very simple. Lloyd Honeyghan beat Donald Curry for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world. And in my opinion, unless somebody beats him in the ring, Lloyd Honeyghan should be recognized as the world welterweight champion.
Now, the challenger, Johnny Bumphus of the United States, now living in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, enters the ring right there. 29 wins, 1 loss, 7 straight wins as a welterweight. He was once the WBA junior welterweight champion of the world. He is given little chance in the press and among ringsiders here of defeating the new champion, Lloyd Honeyghan, who is 26-0 and making his way into the ring right now. An important fight, as you pointed out earlier, Alex, for Johnny Bumphus.
Yeah, and the important thing to remember about the statistics that you just saw in terms of Johnny Bumphus's record, he has 20 knockouts in 30 fights, but he is not a puncher. That statistic in terms of knockouts speaks more about the quality of the opposition than about his power. He says that he's settled down now more. He's gone through a conditioning program with Tim Hallmark in Houston, that same program that Evander Holyfield used when he won the title. He says he's stronger. He says he's going to plan himself better. He says he will show power tonight.
This is the first chance Englishmen have had to root for their new welterweight champion, Lloyd Honeyghan, and they are going to cut their lungs loose right now as Honeyghan makes his way into the ring. Born in Jamaica, now lives in Bermondsey, right on the south edge of London. You see him being preceded into the ring there by his manager, Mickey Duff, and Honeyghan cuts quite a figure in this sequined robe and sequined shorts.
The new champion. You know, Honeyghan's win, Jim, was a tremendous boost for the prestige of British boxing, which has a special place in the long history of this sport because it was here in England over 250 years ago that the sport of boxing as we know it today began to take shape. Early in the 18th century, a famous swordsman from Oxfordshire, James Figg, took an interest in organizing bare-knuckle boxing. His business card advertised him as the master of the noble science of defense. But at the time, there was nothing scientific about the sport. In 1719, James Figg opened the first academy of boxing on this intersection in London. And a year later, he overcame the challenge of a Gravesend pipefitter named Ned Sutton to become boxing's first champion. The sport grew in popularity over the next century until 1824, when the resounding success of the first grandstand show demonstrated boxing's hold on the British public. But despite several sets of rules, boxing still involved considerable mayhem. Kicking, biting, and gouging were banned, but everything else was allowed. Until 1865, when John Sholto Douglas, the 8th Marquess of Queensberry, drew up his famous Rules of Boxing, which laid the groundwork for the sport's modern era.
Gentlemen, the Queen.
The Queen!
Today, the English version of boxing retains a special flavor, from the black tie shows conducted by the National Sporting Club to the gymnasiums, which are often found a floor above the local public house. The gym usually takes the name of the pub, with this one, the Royal Oak in East London, one of the most famous. In the first half of this century, these gyms produced a number of outstanding champions, including Ted Kid Lewis, twice welterweight champion, the famous Mighty Atom, flyweight champ Jimmy Wilde, Jackie Berg, outstanding lightweight in the 30s, Randy Turpin scored the biggest victory in British boxing history when he upset Sugar Ray Robinson. But that was 36 years ago. And since then, English fans have waited in vain for an outstanding champion. The most recent disappointment came last July, when 41,000 fans turned out at 2 in the morning, only to see their hero, Frank Bruno, destroyed by Tim Witherspoon. Crushing losses like this one have led to a defeatist attitude in the fans and the press here, a feeling that their fighters can't beat world-class opposition. In their minds, an English champion like Lloyd Honeyghan had no chance against the likes of Donald Curry. But last September, it was Lloyd Honeyghan who thoroughly outclassed Donald Curry, battering the defending champion over 6 rounds and scoring England's biggest victory since Turpin took the middleweight crown from Robinson. A week later, Lloyd returned to his hometown of Bermondsey in South London, where the reception reflected the pride of the neighborhood in their new champion. As for Lloyd himself, he says that winning the title was only half the battle.
I wanted people to remember me as a great fighter that has come out of Britain, not just another champion. I want to be remembered as one of the greats.
And he can take at least one small step toward that image of greatness. He can knock off Johnny Bumphus tonight. There are a number of appealing traditions that surround English boxing. One of them playing of the British national anthem, God Save the Queen. So now the ring will begin to clear out. The fighters will receive their instructions, and we get ready for this IBF World Welterweight Championship fight as you get a good look at Bumphus in his corner. Alex Wallo. Bumphus is taller and perhaps a bit quicker, and he believes that he brings, as a former champion in the junior welterweight class, a fresh outlook into this fight.
When I lost my junior welterweight title, I had lost, a lot. I lost a lot mentally, and I wasn't putting out 100% like I know that I'm able to. I didn't really start trying to become the fighter that I once was until about the Stalling fight, and then I still didn't give 100% in that fight. But now I'm back on the road, and this will be my second world title, and I'm going to win it.
Johnny Bumphus was a member of the 1980 American Olympic boxing team, which did not go to Moscow. He has had an, at some times, outstanding professional career, but this, as Alex Wallo pointed out earlier, a crossroads fight for him against a fighter who really stunned the world with his dominating victory over Curry last September, and now must be taken in every way seriously as an outstanding champion. The tale of the tape shows that Bumphus is taller. We have in the past thought of him at times as a 6-foot fighter, but our measurement found him at 5 feet 11 and 1/4 inches tall, about a 3-inch reach advantage over Honeyghan. That is somewhat less than we might have expected based on just the way Bumphus looks in the ring. He is tall, and he is, of course, a southpaw, will occasionally switch to a conventional stance. Honeyghan starts out as a right-handed fighter and will sometimes switch to a southpaw stance. Very quickly, Alex, before the rules which govern this fight, how do you see the strategy on both sides?
Well, when you get a chance to see Honeyghan, if you haven't seen him before, he doesn't do any one thing spectacularly well, but he does everything very well. He's got good power, he's got good speed, he's got all the punches, and right now he's got tremendous confidence that comes with the title. He is especially fit and well-conditioned. Johnny Bumphus, the question marks about Johnny, he has a good snapping right jab, he has good movement. He has not in the past showed the chin nor the stamina to do, in my opinion, what's necessary to win this fight. It is just hard to make a case for him.
IBF rule, scoring by 3 judges on a 10-point must system. The referee does not score. No 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 counts. You might expect here in London a bit of a home court advantage for Honeyghan, but because the British Boxing Board of Control does not recognize the IBF, 2 of the 3 judges are American, the 3rd is from Denmark, and the referee is Big Sam Williams out of Detroit. It is 15 rounds for one of the 3 versions of the World Welterweight Championship.
They came out before the bell there, Jim. Good right hand by Lloyd Honeyghan right off the bat. You saw the staring contest before during the referee's instructions. Honeyghan is not someone who can be intimidated. Another good right hand by Honeyghan.
He came out very aggressively against Donald Curry and simply did not let Curry get off in the first round, but hinted to us yesterday, Alex, that he might be a little bit more cautious in the first round here to see what Bumphus wanted to do.
Yeah, Lloyd thought he had Donald Curry totally figured out when he went in, and in fact he showed that he did. He's not quite so sure about how Johnny Bumphus is going to fight. Lou Duva told us yesterday, the trainer of Johnny Bumphus, that he thinks Johnny's best chance is to come out and take his best shot when Johnny is fresh. He acknowledges that Johnny's stamina is not the best in the world, and he thinks he has to go out and try to win the title early. Already, Honeyghan has Bumphus pinned on the ropes, and he moves away there.
2 minutes to go in round 1. Bumphus gets off the ropes and reverses the situation as Honeyghan ducks and slips.
And makes every punch by Johnny Bumphus miss. Again, Bumphus missing every punch of that 5-punch combination.
Honeyghan does not like to use his feet to avoid being hit. He likes to come forward, but ducks and slips as many punches as possible. And as you can see, and Alex points out, it has been highly effective so far.
So the right-handed body shot by Honeyghan, which he hopes will take away whatever movement that Johnny Bumphus possesses. Right now, Johnny's not dancing at all. He wants to move a little bit side to side, but stay within punching range.
Oh! And Bumphus goes down from a solid right cross. Up quickly. He has been down previously in his career and has come back to win fights.
But right now, he looks so wooden and so slow and so ordinary, Jim, that it's hard to see how he can survive this round.
Honeyghan perhaps pressing a little too hard right now to try to finish, as he recognizes what is obvious, that Bumphus is in trouble. Another right.
Bumphus just looks terrible.
Bumphus has no legs.
Honeyghan should be going to the body here to open him up. Bumphus holding his hands up in a desperate attempt to try to survive. Look at the leg. He just has nothing underneath him.
We are coming to the end of a round, and this will be a welcome relief for a Johnny Bumphus who has been in big trouble for the last minute and a half. Honeyghan trying to land, and the bell sounds.
When a cold invades your house, get Neosynephrine. For stuffy little noses, nothing's more gentle or more effective. For bigger noses, nothing's faster or longer lasting. Let your whole house breathe easier with Neosynephrine.
You've a very important date, and you're really looking great, then.
That tingle, a cold sore is coming on.
Campho-Phenique Cold Sore Gel works on developing cold sores to help speed healing. Campho-Phenique Gel helps stop cold sores from stopping you.
Going for the gold takes great moves. But to win, I created my own special twist. Now that's the critical difference. You know, even with a tough headache, I have to give more. So I take Nuprin. 2 Nuprin give me more relief than extra-strength Tylenol. That's the critical difference.
Medical evidence shows 2 little Nuprin give more relief than extra-strength Tylenol. That's Nuprin strength. And still, it's gentler on stomachs than aspirin. The critical difference in pain relief. Nuprin strength.
Left their corners just as the bell sounded to begin round 2, and Bumphus was dumped once again. Lou Duva jumped into the ring to protest that Honeyghan had gotten off too early. There you can see Honeyghan all the way across the ring.
Honeyghan was across the ring early. Lou Duva was still in, but Honeyghan was over there before the bell had rung. Sam Williams was deducting a point from Honeyghan for doing that. And the bell rings again, the second time in round 2.
So round 2 begins again. A point has been deducted from Lloyd Honeyghan on all 3 cards, but the damage has been done. Johnny Bumphus in serious trouble as Honeyghan bores in.
And that's it. There's no standing 8 count. This fight is over.
Bumphus and Duva going after referee Sam Williams to try to plead their case.
The fight is over, and it's a good thing it is, because Johnny Bumphus' condition from the first punch that landed by Bumphus was pathetic. He just was in no condition to be in this ring. He had no chin and he had no legs, and it's a good thing the referee stopped the fight.
And you saw the sheer aggressiveness which helped carry Honeyghan to his big victory over Curry. It was there once again tonight.
Yeah, but that was nonsense what he pulled at the start of the second round. He didn't have to do that. He was winning the fight. He was clearly in command of the fight. It was a cheap stunt by Lloyd Honeyghan to run across the ring.
As he left himself open to the possibility of disqualification.
He did, but there's no referee in the world that would disqualify him here in that case.
What about the IBF?
You stopped it, Stu? No, it would not, in my opinion, it would not be reviewed by the IBF and overturned. If you're going to disqualify him, you have to disqualify him on the spot.
Now let's take another look at what happened.
What you can't tell here, Jim, is when the bell rings. That's the crucial thing. Is it a matter of Lou Duva leading late, or there's the bell right there. Okay, Lloyd Honeyghan was halfway across the ring when the bell rang. Lou Duva was definitely late getting out of the ring. Sam Williams, who is an inexperienced referee, has only refereed 4 world title fights, had lost control of the fight at that time. It's a little bit unfair to say that because he was concentrating on getting Lou Duva out of the ring, I believe. He had turned his back on Lloyd Honeyghan in an effort to get Lou Duva out of the ring.
And Honeyghan, ironically, is carrying the WBC belt around the ring. Now watch this.
That was a nothing right hand that Johnny Bumphus just staggered back. It's a solid left hook. And shortly you'll see Sam Williams come in and stop this fight.
All right, so Lloyd Honeyghan, it appears for certain, has retained the IBF and, of course, will continue to retain the WBC portions of the World Welterweight Championship. We will be coming back to the Wembley Conference Center, hopefully for interviews with both of the 2 combatants. We'll also be going back to San Diego for more indoor track and field when Wide World of Sports continues right after these upcoming messages. There again, Lloyd Honeyghan. At the Wembley Conference Center, where Lloyd Honeyghan has retained his welterweight championship. Alex Wallow's with him right now. Alex.
Lloyd, there were people who said when you beat Donald Curry that he was dead at the weight. People here are going to say that Johnny Bumphus was in no condition to be in the ring. Do you think that you satisfy critics with a performance like this?
Man, I satisfy everybody because they all been saying Lloyd Honeyghan was a fluke with Donald Curry. I want to show the people I'm for real. I'm for real, man.
I said on the air when you came across the ring that you were winning the fight so easily that was unnecessary, that you should have just stayed and come out when the referee... I know the bell rang. The bell definitely rang.
The bell, I heard the
We're
bell.
going to look at it right now. The bell did ring. We're going to watch it right here, Lloyd. You're not going to be able to hear it, unfortunately.
Well, I can't
Mickey Duff is the manager of Lloyd Honeyghan, whose voice you also hear here. Lou Duva is definitely late getting out of the ring. And the referee, Sam Williams, was just stayed in the corner there. Didn't come out until he saw. He was just stayed in the corner.
I didn't hear the bell. I did. I heard it. I heard it. I thought he was taking his time to come out the ring. He was taking his time to come out the ring. And his manager was distracted by coming out. He was looking. He was too slow. And I saw it. And I took my advantage of the situation.
Where do you go from here, Lloyd? Who do you want next? Mark Breland was at ringside.
Anybody. Mark Breland know how I feel. After I beat Donald Curry and I came out the ring, I was in my changing room. And I came out. I saw Mark Breland standing outside my changing room. I went straight up to him and I said to him, Mark, maybe you can rumble one day. And I still mean that because I didn't give up my WBA title for not apartheid reason or anything like that. I gave it up for my own reason, you know, because I didn't want to fight in South Africa or anything like that. And it's up to Mark Breland if he wants to fight a South African.
If he fought Breland now, he would lose his WBC title. The WBC have Breland automatically suspended for 2 years.
We've tried to explain all that at the top. It's difficult to keep track. Lloyd, in your wildest dreams, did you think it would be that easy?
I tell you, I was prepared for this fight. This is the best